So Reyna, for those who do not know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Reyna. I'm 28. Sagittarius.
Oh, okay.
I write stuff, draw stuff, paint stuff, teach stuff. Would be the short description. Born and raised in Miami.
Wow.
Love being by the water. Love traveling. Love color. Love all things beautiful and earthy. My plants.
As you can see.
We got lots of green.
Green.
Yeah.
Honor your journey, because you wouldn't be here now if you hadn't been there then. Each step is precious.
So what did you want to be as a child?
A marine biologist, an artist, a writer, pretty much everything that I thought was fun. Yeah, I think compared to just like people around me and things that I've seen in the world, I think I had a very stable, safe childhood. So I think that gave me the opportunity to kind of like dream and to imagine things and to think positively. So that's always something that I try to put in my art so that other people that may not have had that experience can kind of like pull that joy from it and kind of feel that energy in it.
So wait, in your teenage years when everyone was, especially towards the end of high school when everyone's applying to college and all that stuff, like what was your process? What was that process like for you?
So, high school, it was hard for me because I was the type of person that wasn't good at anything but school. Like, I was super studious, straight A's, but when it came to, like, sports or clubs or dance or this and that, like, I didn't really do any of that. It was just, like, work. And so I didn't really have, like, a passion that I knew for sure. Like, I wanted to go to this college because it's the best school for this. It just so happened that I took art as an elective my 11th grade year and fell back in love with it and just kind of like started to imagine that maybe for once in my life I could be doing something creative versus just study.
Yeah.
Because of course my parents wanted me to be like a doctor.
So how did that psychology, like all the stuff you learned within that psychology, I guess you ended up graduating within psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So did that influence your art? Like, is it a part of your art? Like, is it like, or is it just I studied that was it, and moving on?
It helped me a lot with the way that I understand and communicate with people. It helped me a lot while I was teaching. It helps me now just knowing how people process like sensory imagery and stuff like that, like what types of things I can put into my work, how I can use color to influence a mood, like little things like that. A lot of it is like not even in my conscious, like it's just kind of like things that come naturally, but there are things that I've studied that kind of like come back up.
How did you get to teaching? Because you're like college, artist, how did you get to teaching?
Teaching, that was a career path that I didn't anticipate. I had left after college. I went to Europe and I was living in Portugal, and I kind of I had fallen in love and that's why I was there, and then things weren't working out. So when I came back broke, and I was like, okay, just graduated college, what am I gonna do? And I got a call from the school that I was a substitute teacher at. They knew I liked art, so they were like, the art teacher just quit. Can you cover for us for a couple of weeks until we find like a certified teacher? And so a couple weeks became months, became years, and yeah.
You just became a teacher?
Then I became a teacher.
And then you ended up leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that process like? Because you ended up leaving to actually pursue being an artist full time.
Mm-hmm.
How is it like leaving that safety net? Because now because being a teacher, it's like salary, you get paid, when
Mm-hmm.
the money's coming in. So leaving that, like how did you overcome the difficulties of leaving that safety net? And even, did you prepare for it? Did you save, like all that crazy stuff?
I think that's a good word, because safety net, not even safety net, but I had gotten so comfortable teaching. I loved the students. It was like the first job I ever had that every day was something different, and it was fun and engaging, and I got to introduce them to a lot of things that made me feel fulfilled. So towards the end, it stopped being comfortable, and I started to get very uncomfortable because a lot of things were like going wrong and going against me and my plans for the students. A lot of activities and things I would try to plan would get canceled, and I just felt myself getting like super frustrated. So I think at that point it just became a question between like, my peace and what I think is
Yeah.
possible for myself versus like something I had gotten comfortable doing that was like no longer comfortable.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of like weigh the pros and cons and just like take a gamble, basically.
Was it like a sudden decision, or was it like, okay, I'm gonna plan, I'm gonna save this amount? Tea's ready. So like, was it something that you, like, you know, you took months and planned it out, saved and all that, or was it just like, you know what, I quit today and I'm moving on?
Well, I had always been saving because I ultimately always wanted to build something of my own, whether it was a business or an art career or whatever the case may be. So yes, at the point where I knew that I might quit, I started thinking more like savings focused and more like future planning focused. But yeah, I pretty much had like, from when I made the decision, I think it was March was when I made my final decision, and school ends in June, so it's kind of like I had that period of time to just figure out and pursue other jobs and things like that.
So like, you leaving teaching and even like going to Europe. So how do you practice faith in the midst of like uncertainty?
I think it's like an acquired skill, and it happens by making one decision that scares you after the other, and just kind of learning to trust yourself and lean on yourself, and referring back to those experiences and knowing that you've always figured it out. You know, like
That's so true.
anything that you've tried, and whether it went the way you wanted or it didn't, you figured out how to navigate it, right? Things that happen unexpectedly, losing a job, having to move, like all of those things all of those things that take you out of your like normal routine and your comfort zone that you've navigated and figured out how to make the best of it. Kind of like, if you focus on that, it'll teach you in the future, like when you're talking yourself out of something, you're like, what if I fail? You know, you can kind of say, well, if I fail like I failed this time, I'm gonna figure it out the same way I did last time. And yeah.